Hey, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about a leadership principle that an amazing coach, David Bird, once shared with me years ago. David, B-Y-R-D, David Bird. And it's the tripping point in leadership. It's actually in his amazing book, The Tripping Point in Leadership, Overcoming Organizational Apathy. And he talks about the complaints that people usually have when they can't, get to work, or they can't produce, or they feel like they're not succeeding. He says big complaints that he gets are burnout, stagnation, indecision, lack of creativity, lack of motivation, lack of productivity, and so on. When he asks you, why are you feeling stuck? Right? Why are you feeling stuck? And people blame it on those things. But what he has determined in his years of coaching high-level performers and successful people is that there's something called apathy. A-P-A-T-H-Y, write that down, apathy. The definition of apathy is a natural human instinct common to us all that consistently encourages us to seek a comfort zone in which nothing ever changes. So we're always constantly, as a human nature, seeking comfort zone. Would you agree? Like, that's why we keep on the pounds. That's why we stay in debt. That's why we continue down the road, maybe staying at the same position, not getting to the next level. It is because humans, we want to be comfortable in our comfort zone, to have something different that requires us to change. And nobody wants to change. It's uncomfortable to change, right? I don't want to change. I want a better outcome. I want a different outcome. But in order for us to have something different, we must make that conscious change. But how do you transition? How do you cross the bridge from where you're at today to where you want to be, right? How do we get out of the debt? How do we build more freedom? How do we get to here, from here to here, or from this level to reaching this new level in our careers? And so David Bird talks about there's 3 choices in our lives that make or break us. And we have a choice every single day in these 3 areas. And by taking the better choice, that is how we get to the next level. That's how we get out of apathy. So we're like, help me, I feel stuck. Like, how do I motivate myself to make the calls? How do I motivate myself to do the work? I know what I need to do. I know that I need to exercise every day and eat the spinach and lay off the pizza and the fried chicken. Like, I know I need to do these things, but I'm so comfortable in having that pizza and chicken, right? It is so convenient. It is so simple and easy. Or I know I need to make the calls, but I'm comfortable financially, like I'm doing enough to make the bills, but how do I take it to the next level to have that true financial freedom, get to that next income level, right? So I can buy the bigger home, or to be able to give more back to charity and make that bigger tithe check at church. How do you get to that next level when you're comfortable, where all your needs are met? You're eating, you're not starving, right? You have a roof over your head, that kind of thing. So these are the 3 choices. Number 1, every day we have a choice of attitude. Every day we have a choice of attitude. Every thought you entertain during the day is either positive or negative. So every thought that comes into your head, it's either a positive thought or it's a negative thought. Your thoughts either energize you or drain your vital emotions. And so if we know this, we can be 100% conscious. Yesterday, I posted on my Facebook that Tony Robbins said, I was listening to a great thing by Tony Robbins yesterday, and he said, every day we must stand guard at the door of your mind. Every day. We must stand guard at the door of our mind. And so every day I personally have thoughts that are either above, positive, that are from above, or negative, that are from below. And with practice, though, I've had to learn how to recognize where each thought's coming from. I've had to be like, wait a minute, why am I like, sometimes I'll like be lost in thought, and 5 minutes later, I'll realize that it's negative. And I'm like, how in the world did I get here? Why am I thinking like this? I gotta stop it. Stop it, Liz, stop it. But with practice over time, I've had to learn how to recognize and then decide and only listen to the ones that are positive and listen to the ones that are helpful. So, the majority of our success in business or just in anything, or happiness in life, is determined between the space 6 inches in between our ears. And so every day when we have that choice, we can have a choice to listen to our positive thoughts or listen to our negative thoughts. Which one are you going to choose? But now that we're aware, that's how we can become better. Awareness is the first step. Just like in Alcoholics Anonymous, they say, admitting you have a problem is the first step, right? So we just need to be aware. So in this book, David Bird asks these great questions. He says, are you generally a positive or negative person? Make the choice to change. Do you typically expect to succeed when you do things, or do you expect to fail when you do things? Oh, I typically don't do well at these things or trying new things. Do I seek to support people when they struggle, or criticize them when they have a fault or a shortcoming? As a mother, I always want to be like, don't do it this way. You're doing it wrong, right? I always want to, but instead of criticize, I need to learn how to support and be like, hey, when we come home, it's the best thing to do. Let me help you. Let me help you hang your jacket up. Let me teach you how to properly hang your jacket up instead of just throw it on the floor, right? We need to purposely be in the support role of that person instead of criticize how people do things and then leave them in the mess. Jim Rohn says, don't tell your kid that they spilt milk and just leave them in the mess. Tell them they spilt the milk and teach them how to clean up the mess. Do I praise people, or do I find fault in people? Am I positive or negative? Do I focus on my strengths, or do I focus on hiding my weaknesses? Do I seek to learn from my mistakes, or am I defensive about my imperfection? Do I expect the best in things, or do I always expect the worst in things? Some people say, oh, these things always happen to me. These bad things always happen to me. That seems to be our, but what do you expect? If you want to have a better quality of life, Tony Robbins says, ask yourself better questions. So instead of asking myself, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why aren't I succeeding here? Ask, what's right with me? How can I do this? What can I do to succeed here? This is just little tweaks that we need to make in our mind. We need to be conscious of these things, right? Leaders rise or fall to the quality of their thinking and expectancy. Also, some people like to see themselves as a victim of circumstances. And you may have had bad things happen to you. And I completely compassionate towards that and feel that should have never happened to you. And here in this book, David Bird talks about victims of circumstances may continue to seek comfort in being a victim. This is important here. Victims they think that victims have no control over any possible solutions. But to find solutions, you must be 100% responsible and accountable for your circumstances. Victims have no solutions, but effective leaders must find solutions. In order for us to get past victim mentality, we must give up blaming. Okay, number one, give up blaming. Because when you're pointing your finger at people, you've got 3 fingers pointing right back at you, don't you? Yes, I understand that things were hard. Yes, I understand that mom abused you, and that's not right, right? And I feel bad that happened. but you can choose how you feel moving forward about the situation. My son, my middle son, always, he throws temper tantrums and he says, "You made me mad. You made me mad." And I have to constantly say, "Lucas, I may have done something that upset you, but you chose to be mad. You chose to be mad." And he's 11 years old, so he doesn't understand that, right? That may be a little bit over his head. But things happen to us in our lives. Everything happens to people. And different circumstances happen to different people. But we get to be the one to choose moving forward from today forward, how we feel about that situation. We could either feel the victim or we can feel compassionate and feel sorry for the person, for the offender who didn't understand what they were doing. Just like Jesus on the cross says, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing." And so from today on, we can resolve to be better. We can resolve to get better and to look at that situation and to see that, hey, that wasn't right, but I'm not going to remain in that space. I'm going to move out of that space. I'm going to move to a more positive place. So the second choice that makes or breaks us is taking action. Every day we have a choice to take action towards our goals or to remain in our comfort zone of apathy and to not move in the direction of taking action towards our goals. Taking action is uncomfortable. Not taking action is comfortable. It's easier to sit on the couch and enjoy that TV or sit there and think about your thoughts and think about the business than it is to actually take action and do the business. So sometimes David Bird says he sees people use a great deal of activity as a smoke screen to avoid doing what's most effective, meaning ineffective, non-income producing activity like checking emails and responding to text messages. But that doesn't have anything to do with you making your purposeful outbound calls and text messages to a list of people that you intend to call, because those are your highest income producing activities for the day. If you learn to plan for tomorrow before tomorrow begins, you will start to become more productive in taking action in the direction of the things that you know you need to do that are going to pay off for you. Because if you start your day without a plan, guess what happens? You're going to start responding to emails and text messages. And your text and email inbox is just a to-do list of other people's things for you to do for them. So hear me with this. Plan tomorrow before it begins. So before today's workday ends, get in your planner and say, what is my highest income producing activity for tomorrow, Friday? Right? Are there lunch meetings and Super Saturday and open houses happening this weekend in your region? And in fact, almost every region nationwide, I know Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia is having this Saturday. Cliff Malloy, who's earning $400,000 a year in Legal Shield, speaking this Saturday. I know Northern California has a Super Saturday with Steve Remmel, who is the #1 producer in California, network producer, second to Krista Offenberg, I should say, but she's like, in Planet Awesome, she's like in a different planet. So Steve Remmel is speaking this Saturday in Northern California. I know Southern California, we have events all over the place. I believe Colorado and other places are having events this weekend that we could be promoting into. That would be a high income producing activity for Friday, right? Maybe there's an open house. So, depending upon what's going on your calendar, always be in your calendar and plan for tomorrow before it begins so you can get up tomorrow and not be distracted by the emails and text messages that come in because, we can't resist looking at our notifications. We just can't resist taking a look at them when the little bing goes off. Change your notifications, get into your settings and silence those darn things. But what is income producing activity? What is the highest, most effectiveness for you? It's to, and different people are different. So some people may find booking sit downs as the highest income producing activities for you where you've gotten the biggest results. Dawn Brinkley is doing a training on surveys, right? And for her and her team, surveys work really well for them. That seem to be effective for them. Is calling leads effective for you? What is the highest income producing activity that you have found so far that's been effective for you? And if you haven't figured that out yet, then let's have a one-to-one conversation and determine what is your highest income producing activity for you. See, if you can look busy and avoid the measure of results, you can psychologically feel secure in your comfort zone that you've been busy cleaning your desk and, checking the emails and organizing your refrigerator and stuff like that, but have no results. So there's a difference between being busy and choosing the right activity. If we can be purposeful every day and choosing income producing activity and execute on that and make that the first thing we check off on our list of things to do, right? When you can check that box off, then you're moving in the right direction. And then the third choice that makes or breaks you is the choice of accountability. Accountability, what is that? That is, you set a goal, you tell someone that you have this goal, and you let them hold you accountable to that goal. And don't wait for that person to say, hey, how are you doing towards your goal of losing 5 pounds? No, you make it a point to communicate with them and say, I ate the spinach. I chose the spinach today, right? I took a walk for 30 minutes today. You tell them what you've done. Don't wait for the person to check in with you. But accountability requires you to communicate with someone else who you give 100% permission to say, hey, I see you ordered the pizza. I was on the phone with my friend Wayne, and I know he was trying to, he struggles with diabetes. And I heard him on the phone go through the McDonald's drive-through lane, and I heard him order soda. And I said, no, change that to water. And then he goes, I'll change that to a water. And I know he wanted the soda. I know he wanted it. I would have wanted it too. But that's what a good accountability partner does. And you have to receive that accountability when they say no. You're going to bed without doing your 2 exposures. Get out there, get on the social media, strike up a conversation with someone, and get out your videos. So those 3 choices that make or break us to keep us out of being apathetic. Number 1, our choice of our attitude every day. It's either positive or negative. We can choose to be positive or negative about a situation or our thoughts to protect our mind. Number 2, the choice of taking action in the right direction. Income producing activity, the highest form. And then number 3, the accountability to reach out to someone and say, hold me accountable to this goal, please. And most people hide from that third one. Most people hide from accountability. I know, because that's the one that I hide from the most. I know I want these things and I want to change, but I'm not willing to tell somebody to make me do it, right? Because it's uncomfortable, because I'm comfortable in where I'm at right now. We're all comfortable in our comfort zone. Okay, so that's this week's lesson. Let's see what we could do to focus this week on staying accountable to those 3 things.